Hi, and welcome to Vibin With, brought to you by Puzzle of Color. On this episode of Vibin With, we're talking to Lauren Younge, artist behind Garden Glory. Lauren is a St. Louis-based artist who creates colorful abstracts with the intent of brightening people's lives. In 2016, she received her bachelor's degree in art education from Southeast Missouri State University, and she received her master's degree from Webster University in art management and leadership just last year. Lauren is drawn to abstract art because it allows her to express herself more freely.
So, hey, Lauren, how's it going? How you been?
Hi, how's it going? I've been good. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's been a little minute. I would love for you to give us a little background on you and how you got into art.
Sure. Let's see. So I am a St. Louis-based artist. I would say I owe it to my mom as to why I consider myself an artist to this day. So born and raised in St. Louis, I participated in lots of art programs outside of school. I was fortunate to go to a K through 12 district that had a great art department, K through 12. And so I'd say end of high school is where I was like, wow, I really want to become an artist. I want to pursue this. And with family support in a nice, loving way, they were like, what else can we do? Like, you can be an artist, but what else? And so I was also volunteering at an arts organization here in St. Louis, helping. I wasn't old enough to be a teacher, so I was like TAing at art camps during my summers, and I was like, oh, I could teach and paint. So my background is in art education. I've taught, I'd say, along the lines of 4 years in the area. I still teach when I can. I don't consider myself a full-time teacher at the moment, but I teach when I can. And so my day job is in arts administration, and I paint when I can. So yeah. So I've been painting, I'd say, since high school, really took it seriously through undergrad. After undergrad, I kind of took a pause because I'd say my art felt like it was in a hobby phase. I wasn't really sure like how to push it more, how to feel more, I guess we could say, official. That sounds kind of lame, but like how to make not even a business, just to be taken seriously, to have more professional looking pieces and actually making sales. So I took about a 2-year pause, and then when COVID hit, I had all this free time, and I was like, it's time to pull out my brushes and canvases and take this seriously. So last December, in fact, I got my LLC, Lauren Younge Fine Art, and here I am, just trying to push my art out to the world. That's like my tidbit. That was a long tidbit though.
I love it. I mean, honestly, there were so many things. I'm like, don't forget that question. Don't forget that question. Like, it was a lot, really great stuff. It's so funny, like when you talk about like how you like volunteered in the summer, like that definitely was something that my parents like really instilled in us. Also, free daycare for anybody who needs a parenting tip.
Yes.
Like, so we used to like daycare, like we, instead of sending us to like, actual summer camp or something, they would like say, oh, hey, there's summer school, down the road, like go volunteer at the summer school. And then we can ride the bus.
Right. Then you're gone all day.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like your lunch is covered, like everything is done, and I didn't pay a dime. No, it's
smart.
Yeah.
It is very smart.
One thing I was going to say is congratulations. I mean, just the fact that you started to move forward and the pandemic, a lot of people have like actually started really working on their passions. So congratulations. And you're doing an amazing job. So how did you get into like, because you have like all the, like the art education, like how did you choose to do abstract versus any other type of medium?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say I've always been interested in abstract art. My style has just like evolved over the years, but abstract art or art for me I'd say it's like a stress reliever. And I find it's more like freeing to do abstract art, where I'm making my rules. I'm deciding what colors to use. I'm deciding when I think a painting is finished and when I think it's said, what I want it to say. Whereas, yes, I've had the like traditional artistic training, all the drawing, painting, the like traditional, you draw a still life or like full body. I have all that training, but it's not like my favorite. I find that very stressful. but I can do it, but it's not really fun for me. So I have respect for the artists that are able to, you know, paint portraits all the time and whatever else, like real things.
Yeah.
Mad support to them because I can't.
No, I understand that because that's something I grew up doing, drawing and painting and stuff. Well, I never liked painting because I could never like control the brush strokes. So for me,
Fair.
painting was always this, just was not for me. Because I remember when I painted my room, it was always frustrating because I would even paint. I was a good drawer, illustrator, drawer, whatever you want to call it. But when I started to do like painting, I was like, oh, this is not the same at all. This is the crap. I hate
Different.
this. I hated it all. So even like when I went to school, so art school, but to Lamar University, I went to graphic design. So it was in art classes and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I like sculpture. That was a cool class, but color theory was like so time consuming and hard, like because it's all about painting and like blending colors and stuff like that. Kind of like, how do you get your color palettes, I guess?
Yes, I definitely blend my colors. Usually, unless it's like some of my super dark variants, I don't use black anymore, but it's like a specific paint color I use is Prussian blue, which is like I use for like my deepest blue. So like that on a canvas might be straight from the tube, but for the most part, what you see in my paintings, mainly everything is mixed. Yes.
So
blended together. Yes.
So this black on your painting behind us, is that like a real black or is that?
So that's probably a mix of like Prussian blue, and then I'm not going to think of, it's like a turquoise, but it has a cooler name than that, and it's darker. So like that's like a mix of that. Where like, yes, it looks black, but if you were to see the actual painting, it has like a kind of blue kind of hue to it.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I just did like board and brush for my job. Like it was like a team building activity. And I was like, I want a lime green, but they literally give you yellow, red, white, and like a weird shade of blue. And like, I think a green, but it was like a turquoise green. And I was like, how am I going to make lime green? And I just kept adding yellow. And I was like, whatever, close enough. I could not make that color to save my life. So making colors is like, you know,
takes a lot. Yes.
Learn. And I was like, I don't have to patience to even add yellow. I'm like, now I'm coming up with way more paint than I even actually need because I just keep having to add more color. Yeah. I was like, I'm over it.
Yes. It works.
I saw you posted your video of receiving your puzzle. That was really great.
Oh, video was so good. I was like, I need a lesson from her on like how to create video.
Reels, I tell you what, reels are so much work. Like they're only a minute long, but it'll take me a good, like I'm not a quick reel maker. I have friends where it's like shoot, and it's cute. Like no, but thank you. I worked really hard. I hope you guys would like it. But yes, I just wanted to show that the puzzle was actually like a big painting. That was I thought that was kind of cool. But yes, that was fun to make. That was fun.
So you actually have you finished it completely, or you just were able to
Oh my God, no. When I wanted to do enough of the border because I did try, and I was doing it on like our like I don't know, what do you call it? Like a table by your couch, like
coffee table.
Our coffee table, but it was getting in the way. So now I have it in a box, and I come back to it when I want to. Like I can open the box, and it's still like all together. I have a good chunk of the border. It's the center, the center areas that I still am trying to work on.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
We call that our 2 weeks notice puzzle because it's very hard. Either you finish it in 2 weeks or you quit.
Yes.
It took him like William is a speed puzzler. Like he does not like to spend a lot of time. Like he's like, I'm gonna get this done this weekend. Right. And it took him, granted, I mean, you know, we're busy with other stuff. And so like, you know, he took on and off a couple of days, but like it took him like what, a month?
No, it took me like a week and a half. But that's because
that's a week and a half because it took him like a month from start to be finished. But like,
okay.
And that's actually because my mom did the border for me, and she gave up on it because But I was like, all right, let me try it. I really want to get it done so we can like have it to frame. Like,
yes, that's why I want to finish it. Yes, it looks awesome framed.
Yeah, it's really pretty. So gorgeous.
And like when we show it at events, people really love it, and that's when people buy it. So.
Yeah.
That's
because we do a lot
exciting.
like we were at the state fair.
Yeah.
That's actually
Like,
debuted.
Saw that. Yes.
That's why
Yeah.
it did it really well. It just does well with people. When people see it, they really want to buy it. So
Yeah.
that's pretty
It was
awesome.
so cool because like literally we only had from like our manufacturer, they sent us in a couple of puzzles X early, and then everything else came by boat. And so like we only got like 50 of everything. And then like, and so we were like, okay, well, we don't really have enough to like release this online, but we're gonna be at the state fair. Like, let's go ahead and do like a preview. And like when it sells out because we have more coming. But I think it did sell out at the fair. Like it was like people
so
loved
exciting.
it.
That is awesome.
And it was
so
like
happy to hear.
Special preview, sneak peek. Like come by our booth, you get a sneak peek. It's not even available on our website yet.
Yes, I love that.
Well, you mentioned that like, you know, like one of the things you love is like that you can kind of control like how to end it. That is always my hardest part. Like whenever even when I go to like, you know, like a paint and sip thing, like I like try to like add all these little details, and then before you know I've screwed it all up because I've added too much. And
I'm doing
like,
too much.
Why did I do that? I should have stopped on the head. Like how do you like you know, is that something that you had to learn over time? Like how did you get to the point where you can like not mess your painting up like I do?
No, I understand because yes, okay, I have like a 2-part answer, and I will apologize because my answer always sounds like so like okay, that's like easier said than done, but which I don't have a better. I'll try to explain it. So one, I am the cover up queen, so I totally understand you and others who like you think you keep needing to add things to your painting when it's done. So I get that. I'm the cover up queen, and so one way I try to combat that is I'm always working on more than one piece at a time, because if I am not like, if I've done something, I'm like, I don't know if I like this, I'm going to set it away, set it to the side, and then I always have a few, like 2 or 3 paintings that are just for me, where it's like, oh, I have leftover paint today, so let me put a layer down. Or it's like, oh, I want to try out this color, but I don't want to put it on this canvas yet because I'm trying not to do too many cover-ups on this one. Yeah. So I'll paint. So that's a way I've tried to combat it. I know a painting is done when it just feels done. And so when I say that, I mean my colors pop the way that I want them to. The movement is like cohesive, and I feel like there's a third one. My colors pop, movement is cohesive, and I mean I'm just happy with it. Like sometimes I paint something and I'm like, yes, this is it, and then other times I'm like, oh no, like that won't be on the website, and that's okay. And I don't waste canvases, so I'll come back to it, but you just won't know that I have it because I don't like it. But so hopefully that didn't sound so like cliche of like it said what I needed it to say, so it's done.
No, I love that. Like that. I mean, and that like that's actually a really good like answer as far as like the working on multiple things. So like to prevent yourself from messing with it too much, you have something else to kind of distract you. Like I'm like, I need to get like 2 canvases when I go to sip and paint now.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work for sip and paint. Maybe sip and paint at your house.
That's why I do all my work assignments as well. Work on multiple things so I don't get tired of one. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. That's what I'm start saying. That's pretty good strategy, I think.
So, because I'm all about a stress-free process, so having like 3 things to paint, relatively speaking. I don't want to be overworking myself, but if I feel like I need a break, I always have something I can like just keep painting on.
So how often do you paint? Do you paint like every day?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on my schedule. If I have commissions, then yes, I need to paint. I will be painting every day just because I have a timeline. For me personally, I usually paint. I definitely am not painting every day, which sounds terrible. But when I paint, I'll paint for like 3 to 4 hours at a time. Like it's like when I'm feeling it, I'm going to do it. And then I might be doing it until like midnight, or like I'm going to wake up early and paint until noon. I just kind of paint with the flow of my day job schedule. So it just depends. One day I hope to be painting every day. I hope that's just like my job, right? But we're not there yet, and that's okay. But so yeah, I typically it's like a few times a week, and for like for a good chunk of time.
Do you paint in your own studio or like your house? Like where do you paint?
Yes, I've sectioned off a part of my house and or my apartment and deemed it my studio space. And it works, have my tarps down because I cannot keep getting paint on my carpet or floors. Have I have like 5 tarps down, and I swear stuff will still go through when I have it. I don't know what it is. But so I have like the heavy duty tarps, and then I'll get like the plastic tarp that I can just tape up on my walls. So it's kind of works.
So yes. I know that, like, speaking of, when you mentioned commissions, like you have actually done like, for Thanksgiving, you had like these giant, or maybe not Thanksgiving, but like just fall in general, you had this giant pumpkin that you did. Like, do you enjoy playing with other mediums besides like canvas, or do you actually paint on canvas, or do wood? Like, what is your favorite medium?
So I used to love painting on wood when I was younger. I haven't painted on wood in a while. I would say canvas is my go-to. I love painting large scale, but for me right now, most of my smaller paintings are what people would like, and that's fine. Not everybody has space for 5x4 painting. That's fine. But I love working nice and big. But yeah, so I'm always on canvas just for right now. Of course, if someone wanted me to paint on something else, I would figure it out. And I should say stretch canvas. Because I know some artists will paint on like loose canvas and then sell it like rolled up. But mine's always stretched, like with a frame. The pumpkins, you were talking about, I did not make those, but again, I was willing to paint on a styrofoam material if you'd like me to do that.
So how was that experience? It looked pretty cool. It turned out really well.
It was insane. I felt like I had ran a marathon after those 2 days. From all the like bending the up and down, but it was great. I've never done live painting before, never painted on a size. It was like an 8x8 foot mural wall, or wall for a mural that had been primed for a mural. And then those pumpkins were huge, but it was so much fun. It was in the middle of the mall, and like people were coming to like watch. I had my headphones on, my noise canceling, so I had to be in the zone. But it was fun. I would definitely do it again. I was so nervous, but it was a lot of fun. And I did like how it turned out. We are our worst critics. So there were things I would love to redo possibly, but I had to be done. I had 2 days to paint all of that.
It looks so good.
It was insane. Thank you. Thank you.
How did you get the opportunity to work on that?
Instagram. They reached out. I believe they found me through Instagram, like you guys. So yeah, keep posting. If any artists are watching, your social media matters.
DMs be popping.
And have a working email. So I used to suck at checking my email, but now I check it like multiple times a day, just because you never know. But they reached out over email. I was like, oh, sure.
Yeah. I mean, you're right about that Instagram thing. Like, we have, like, me and my mom actually saw like an artist that we were like, she's cool. Like, I wonder what else she has. And then we went to like her social, and it was like nothing there. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna just call her for like, oh, maybe, like, what if the rest of it's not great? And then I've called her and like got her hopes up. Like, how do we do? So like, definitely you want to have like,
you got to post
it out there, like put out your, your best stuff so that people can like find you. Cause
a balance of like your face and your work.
Yeah.
So they know you're a real person.
Exactly.
But if people are watching.
How's it feel to be like the business? I feel like you do the business side of like social media and all that stuff pretty well. Even like say getting your LLC, you have your website up, your website looks good, got your work on there. What was the process of getting that started? How does it feel to do it?
Yes. The process, I guess, so we all Instagram stalk, right? So in trying to build my like art business, which is I still feel needs like a lot of work, but I've come a very long way, I'd say. just from starting. So I found like artists who I like, I guess you'd say like look up to in like the social media world. And I'm like, like how are they posting? Are they offering any, like advice on their stories, or do they do like Facebook Live or Insta Live just to like where you can ask questions? So I'd say that's kind of how I started, where I did a little bit of Instagram stalking. And then I kind of asked around, like if I felt comfortable reaching out, like sending a DM, like, hey, got a question, thinking of an LLC, things like that. So I tried not to be afraid to ask for like help. It is awkward sometimes, but it's worth it in the end. And then like trial and error, like I'm still figuring out like what sells through my website. I know I have to like consistently post on Instagram, which is sometimes I push that, and there are some weeks where I'm like, I don't have it in me, and that's okay. And like remembering when I'm painting to get content, that is sometimes so hard. I don't know why, but it is. So little things like that. But yeah, I'd say trial and error is a huge thing for me. I know there's things in 22 that I'm hoping to kind of perfect more with the business, but of course, constant sales is the goal, or consistent sales is the goal. And so I'm still working on that. But yeah, I'm happy how I've kind of grown in my little year. So yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself. You're doing it really good. I know, like even my, Kawans or another artist of ours, she talks about how having she draw like in her sketch pad, have to film her drawing and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to do because it's like a whole other like mind process. You have to like, okay, we filmed this part too, and look through the film, look through the camera, look through the actual canvas. What's the right way to do it. So it's all like a balancing process to learn.
It is. Yep. And figuring out what works for you. Like if reels are not your thing, then don't force yourself to do reels,
Yeah. I was gonna say, I understand what you're saying about like forgetting to like, even for two reasons. For us, like for our own, like, man, we've had an amazing year. I wish we actually had more record of it, like because we're always running. But then also like we have someone who manages our social media, and we're like, she's like, you guys, I need new content. Like, where's your content? And I'm like, oh yeah, we did have that meeting. We could have got some pictures or something, like, or
it's like,
definitely have to like, just when you're busy, you forget. Like,
it's hard.
It's like, I like my dream. I've been like since I was like a kid was like, I wish I just had a camera following me around. So that somebody else could do all this work, like like a celebrity.
I love that dream.
Living the life.
I love that.
Videographer right here.
Yeah.
I love that. I support that. I would like one as well, but only like my good angles. Don't take
like
everything.
Like Mariah Carey camera crew, like only on the left, right?
Only with good lighting. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, so speaking of 2022, like what are your goals? I mean, I know you're similar to us. I mean, like we started, in 2020 as well.
Yeah.
Like, and we're like literally trying to like plan out the year. Like how are, what are your plans? What are you trying to do?
Let's see. Well, so the goal is, starting out, my goal was just like, how can I push my name out more? Yep. And so I'd say I want to continue with that energy. I have a collaboration happening in 2022 that I'm really excited about, a fashion collab that I'm really excited about. I'm hoping, so my goal is just like, when there is an opportunity, let's talk about it and let's see, like, is it like, can this be a thing? And to find more, maybe connect with more people who want to do a collab. Commissions, I'd love to have a more steady commission schedule. So that is on my radar as well. And then again, working on more consistent sales on my website. That's probably what every artist says. I feel like even once you've made it, it's like, you just never know what people are going to be buying. But I do have like record of like what sells well. And so I need to be reading more into that. Yeah, I think I'm going to kind of reevaluate what I'm selling on my website. Still paintings, of course. But yeah, just I'm open for 2022. I'm like, I don't have like set plans, but that's kind of like, I guess, my thoughts for 22. So I'm excited, ready to see what happens.
I definitely, yeah. I mean, that's the very similar goals as far as like making sure you get in front of people, making sure people know who you are. Like, even though sometimes like we'll do podcasts, I'm like, man, I've already answered this question. It's like you have to remember, like, this is a different audience, like, and it's important to get your story out, and you know, all of those things, like that's like we notice, like when we go to events, like we're like it's amazing to like have these new people that are just still discovering us. And I mean, of course, not everybody in the world knows who we are, of course, you know, like, so it's great to be able to, like, you know, you want that new audience, because like when people know who you are, and when they know you exist, like that's when you get those consistent sales and you get all new fans.
Right.
So, you know, always putting yourself out there, that is like the number one goal that will lead to these other things and opportunities that you want.
Absolutely.
And I would say, like, even with like finding your audience, even like some works is might not be selling as well for this audience, it's probably finding a different audience that will like appreciate the work that you other works that aren't selling as well, you know, because I think even for us, we were like, some of our puzzles sell better in person, like at events, than they do at, you know,
online
in the store.
That's fair.
We want to make, you know, a merge of both to be exactly the same, of course. But,
right.
That's not how it works.
That's the goal.
So, it's all about like where you are. So like, even because, you know, certain areas, people just like different things, you know. Do you do a lot of events as well, or?
I don't. I did my first art fair like September of this year. And that was my first. I that was a huge learning experience. I would do it again when it's warm. It was warm, but but yeah, that was a whole different audience as well, because there's like a whole like art fair scene that I'm not in, and like some of my like tent neighbors were like telling me like, you should look at this, and we've been doing this for how many so many years. I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah, so all the things, I would be open to it, but it's like that's a whole different audience than like, I don't know, I can't even think of another example, but like who would see me online? Social, right. That was like, so
like people who are like avid art, like people go to art fairs are like a lot more art appreciators than like, or you know, they're different type of appreciators than people who like art on Instagram or whatever, you know.
Whole different ball game. Yeah.
Like I was thinking about that whole, what are these, the digital rights? I can't think of what those are called now. The
NFTs.
Yeah, NFTs. And at first I was like, that is stupid and I don't understand it. And like, whatever, just some new thing like crypto. But then I was like, honestly, I'm like, it's actually pretty cool because so much, the world is so digital that like there's so much art that you see and you love online that you'll never actually get a print of necessarily, you know, like there's an audience of people who will never buy a print, but they appreciate the digital. And so like this is just an opportunity for artists to be able to profit off of their digital work. And you know, so, or not even, maybe it's not digital, but like the digital image of their work. Like, so I'm like, I guess, I mean, you know, that in that way it is important, especially because there are so many talented people and they should definitely be reimbursed and, you know, celebrated for the work they do.
So you mentioned earlier that you had your headphones on to get in the zone. This is called Vibin With. So what kind of music do you listen to?
Yes. Let's see. Oh, goodness. I do all the things. So I go from like, I love pop. I go from like pop to like a little bit of hip hop rap, back to pop, maybe some Beyonce, some Ariana, some Sam Smith, some Adele, maybe if I feel like being, you know, I just need to be in my emotions. And then I'll go to some Chance or some Drake, but then I also will throw in some gospel music in there. So I go all the way around. But since it's a stress-free process for me creating, I'm never listening to new music. Like it's always stuff that like I typically know the lyrics to, or I've definitely listened to a few times. I don't typically like listening to an album for the first time when I'm painting. That like throws off my vibe. Because I'm not the type who can listen to a new album all the way through. I popcorn around until I find my few jams and then I'll go all the way through. So yeah, when I'm painting, I'd say those are my top people. We just had Christmas, so of course I was bumping to some Christmas music while painting. I have a slight pentatonics obsession. I don't know if you guys do that, but
you know, I have, well, first of all, Pentatonics is from Arlington. Yep. They went to the high school that I was supposed to go to if we had not moved. We ended up moving like when I was in like elementary, like almost middle school. Okay. But like that's the school like that our neighborhood like fed into. So I'm like, Mom,
oh my goodness, you could have been in the group.
Could have been in. Oh wow, I'm thinking like that.
So they all, I didn't know that they all went to school together. So
like 3 of them did, and then they found like the bass and the bassist and the beatboxer is they found him later. Yeah, but the 3 singers did.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So cool.
Yeah. And so I actually went to a Beyonce concert like a few years ago and ran into Christy like just at the end of the show. Like she was just walking casually around. Like I think we were in line at like the concessions or like something. We were in line. And I was like, I know who you are. Like
that's so cool.
I love them.
Love Pentatonics. Like I'm a choir girl, grew up and like,
oh, then yes.
So like, it's like literally seeing them like be so successful. I'm just like, that is like the dream. Like when you're like a kid in choir, like, is to be able to like
that's amazing.
Sing a cappella with your friends and like make a living off of it. Like that's so cool. And so we've definitely seen them whenever they come tour here, like love them.
Nice. Yes. Okay. I'm glad it's not just me. Some people are like, what? I'm like, how could you not? How could you not?
But yes, we love Pentatonics over here. And freaking, I was gonna say Tom Cruise, but Todrick Hall, love him
as well.
Yeah. But yes, so many. I was gonna say, you said pop, like you like talk about like Britney at all, Britney Spears.
I have an Ariana Grande obsession as well.
Her. Yes.
So I'm thinking more like her. I'm trying to think of who else is like poppy. Sam Smith he would be considered pop, right? Is he considered pop, or is he like R&B-ish? R&B-ish.
No, but I've seen him in concert. He's great.
I need to see him in concert. I love. Okay, I'm like, I like Shawn Mendes. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I do love him.
I guess.
Who else? I know I have other people. Of course, I'm like, I should have just pulled up
the Queen, Beyonce, of course.
Queen Bee, of course. Like Queen Bee, yes. I'm sure there are others in my brain. They're just not coming out.
Yeah. I think. So, when you mentioned gospel, I was like, I could see gospel with this kind of like, it's like, very like moving, and exactly. Yeah. So like what song like specific, like when you look at that at Garden Glory, like in Glory, very gospel.
Oh goodness.
What kind of like do you think about with that?
Oh, so you want me to put that with like music? Is that what you're saying?
Sure, yeah.
Or you're saying, oh goodness. I'm like, because I was listening to lots of songs with that.
How long did it take you to do this one, do you think?
Oh, that was just shy of 2 months, probably.
Oh wow. So you spent a good time on
that was a very big painting. Okay, I don't know if ask the question again.
Like what song would you, if you're like just looking at it, what song comes to mind?
Or songs, plural.
Or songs, yes. It doesn't have to be just one. Don't have to limit yourself.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I've never been asked that before. I don't know.
That's what Vibin With is about.
I know, right?
Well, and then you call it Garden Glory. So like what, I mean, I think we have it inside of the box as well, but like tell us like what was kind of like the inspiration as you were doing this and how you named it. How do you get it?
So it was a commissioned piece for this a women's organization here. And so I was hoping to instill like growth. Like when I see it, everything's like going up the canvas. And then when I think of growth, that always takes me to plants, even though growth could be like emotional growth or like spiritual growth, all the things. But so I titled it Garden Glory just because with growth for me, first thought is like plants or like nature growing. That was my like kind of thought process with that. And one of their like, I'm not gonna be able to think of like the correct word, but like one of their like like points that they're always trying to do with their like mission work is like instilling joy. And so that's another thing I'm hoping you get from that, like growth and joy. With that piece, I'm almost thinking like the Chance the Rapper song, like what is it? The like when the blessings go up. What is that? That's what I'm thinking of. Not that I just gave y'all a little tune.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, God. I heard it. I heard it.
I'm like, I know this song, and now I'm like on it too.
Yeah, I think
it's on Coloring Book.
I think it's called Blessings. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I could do like that. Because technically it's going like up and down. Technically.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So I have never been asked that, but I'll go with that for my answer.
All right,
I like it.
I like that. I think it's all. How did you feel about Chance's late the big day? I guess that's the album.
The Big Day. It did not hit as good as Coloring Book.
It really wasn't though.
Because it just had. So again, I can't even tell you that I've listened to the whole album.
Oh, yeah.
Like even with Coloring Book, with any album, I'm going to find like my top 2, 3 and stick to those. Then after a few months, then I'll do the whole listen. So Coloring Book, I can legit listen to like on repeat.
Yeah.
Big Day was like, there was no.
Adele would not be happy with you with all the skipping through.
I know.
She says.
I know.
The artist
I know.
puts it in a specific order for a specific reason.
I know. And I was like, girl, okay, but I love you, but also that's not.
I'm on Adele's side there. I do like to listen to an album all the way. Well, I mean, I used to. I mean, back in the day, like now you don't really buy it out, but like especially when it was CDs, I love to listen to it all the way through. And like, there's a story. Like I remember, like, Anti Rihanna, of course, like that's one that like I can listen to all the way through, and it has to be in order. And like back to Britney Spears, like she has one. Oh God, it's like either Blackout or Circus. That album.
Oh, okay.
The music, it almost like it's like the songs are specifically rolling into each other. Like even like beat wise, you almost can't tell that it's going from one song to the next. And like so you have to hear it. Or you don't have to clearly, but like
you should.
It's it's fun to listen to it all the way through because it's like, man, how did they, that's so creative. They do that because especially because that there's a lot of different writers, and so like how they actually made it work all together like that is really cool.
Which is so I shake my head at Big Day. We can do better, but
I'll
fine.
This is why Rihanna is not coming back because she's like, nah, y'all already have answer. I refuse to like have all this comparison. It's too much pressure, and I'm already.
And I'd even say, I'd even say Rihanna, but I love her as well. I'm like, where's the album? But it's okay. We have the past album.
She left you with a masterpiece. She just dropped the mic and was like, bye. I'm gonna go make my money.
She really was. And I support her full-heartedly. Like, get your money, girl. Get it.
So how'd you feel when we approached you about your art as a puzzle anyway? What was your like initial thoughts and whatnot?
Oh, I was like, like I had never thought of my art being on a puzzle. So I was super duper interested. I did give you guys a quick Instagram stalk. So I was like, ooh, like what are they about? Absolutely. And I love that. I love that it's all artists of color. That's amazing. But I was excited, and I was concerned that my puzzle would be too hard. I was, because I was like, it looks like it would be a hard puzzle, but I'm glad to hear that people like it.
Yeah, we spoke about that one, but I thought it was gonna work. It was gonna work. We knew it was gonna work. We're just a matter of like how are we gonna like with people that's worth buying, because even though it's hard, it's definitely worth it. But like seeing it framed up and just having a chance to actually see it finished.
It's like, look, this is finished. It's possible. It may take a while, but it can be done.
No, I'm gonna have to pull mine back out tonight and try a little bit more.
It's worth it when it's done. Like you see, it's gorgeous.
It's so beautiful. And like one thing, like, I mean, there are people, there's just different levels and different skill sets that people have. So like, there are people who want a challenge. They're like, hey, do you guys have any 3,000 piece puzzles? I'm like, no, are you crazy? You know, like that.
Oh my God.
You know, like there are people who like want that really, really tough stuff. So it's like, hey, you're looking for a challenge?
You got one.
This is it.
Here
this
you
is
go.
The one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We want to have a variety of levels here. So
yep.
Exactly.
And then there are people who are like we had somebody at the state fair came up and they were like, oh, we want the one that's going to drive people crazy because we have one out at they have one out at their family reunion and they're like, it gets competitive. And so like, they're like, we want like the roughest one you got.
Oh, that's so fun.
So
yeah, I like to do puzzles as a competition, like not as a competition per se. But it's, you know, I'm a little competitive with it. I want to be like, they say, getting it done fast, or,
Yeah.
you know, just dedicating your time and make sure you get it done. It's like, it's always rewarding when you get a piece down. So I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I like about
Make
it.
your connections.
Were you like a puzzler ever before?
I wouldn't say that. We were never doing 1,000-piece puzzles as a family. Maybe a little smaller. I know when I was little, we would have like the big pieces, but that doesn't really, I know that doesn't count to like be like, I did that as a child. It can count now.
I did a 5-piece puzzle and I killed it.
Right. Like, yes. That doesn't count now. But no, we weren't huge puzzlers. We were not, but
I mean, I feel like any puzzling is all like, if you have like the experience of like a 50-piece puzzle, like it's just a skill that translates, you know, like
it
you
does.
can do.
Yep.
Like people like have to give themselves more credit. Like if you can do a smaller puzzle, you can do a bigger puzzle. It takes a little bit longer, but it's all about like knowing the methods and like, you know, rocking it out.
Yeah.
And taking the time.
Absolutely. Yes, it'll take a little longer, but you can do it.
Yeah. You know, take a while, walk away, do something else. That's like, just like with the painting, like to convince yourself from like overworking it. Like if you want it to be enjoyable, you know, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just you know, take a break, do something else,
true.
come back. But by the way, I'm with you on like the not listening to new music while you're trying to like focus.
Oh, there's
like,
no way.
I'm like,
there's no way.
Give me some like Anita Baker or something, like something that I just know.
Oh yeah.
So that way I don't have to worry about like listening to a new album. Sometimes it depends on the artist, I guess, but like sometimes listening to the new album, I'm like, what is that sound in my ear? Like,
like wait, and you know I'm gonna skip it. So
no, I like when I listen to older music or to the like music I already know. I find that sometimes when I'm listening to it while I'm doing other work, I like somehow I hear more of the music, like the lyrics. If I'm listening to like a lyric artist like Lupe, I'm like, oh, he was talking about this, and that's kind of interesting. I didn't hear this before. I don't know why that is.
You start to like analyze.
You like pick up on new stuff.
Not supposed to be listening to it. It's background music, but I'm also like somehow catching more of it. I'm like, this is interesting. But I don't know, like I love when it happens.
Like I'm really bad about not listening to any new music, and then I'm like, man, I've listened to that same album for 5 years.
That's
I'm
fair.
always listening to the music.
And then I'll be listening in the car with my husband. I'm like, what's that?
I'm always like, I've got to the point now where I listen to an album probably like 2 or 3 times. Unless it's like an artist like Big Sean or Kid Cudi, like a staple of my music listening. I'm like, let's do it like twice if I like the album, but I won't ever go back to it. I'm like, damn, it was a good album, but I haven't really listened to it that much. I need to go back and listen to it again to kind of. But I used to love listening to music. Like I listen to full albums. I don't know how you guys skip around. It's weird. I like to listen to the full album unless I cannot. Unless I don't like the whole album, then I'll skip around. But like, I like to listen to the whole thing, the full experience.
I don't know where I got that from, but I cannot. Now Beyonce, of course, that's different. So I would say that for her.
But then she also, you know, is one of those artists that like she is intentional about her curation. It's a story. You have to follow the story, you know.
You do.
So I think it depends on the artist. Like Drake, you can listen to all of his stuff in any order from any year, and it's fair. All the same.
That is true. That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, it's been so amazing chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know we got a little bit of a late start, but
that is all good. Thanks for having me.
so excited. Your puzzle is doing amazing, and I can't wait to, to continue to push it out there and give each other more visibility so that we can reach those heights we're talking about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that collab you have coming up and all the work you're going to be doing in 2020.
Oh yeah, definitely keep us in the loop. Like we love to promote artists, so like let us know when it's happening. We'll share it out.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you so much. You have a great evening.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for an episode of Vibin With. Be sure to purchase a puzzle by this talented artist at puzzlesofcolor.com. You can also listen to a curated playlist of music to pair with this artist's puzzle on Spotify. Just search for Puzzles of Color.